It is 10:06, 7:06 in Las Vegas. Time for Money Info, brought to you by Princeton Research with Mike King in beautiful Las Vegas, Nevada, and Charles Moskowitz in beautiful, magnificent, wonderful summertime of Cape Cod. What a romantic place. Hey, good morning, guys. How are you?
Okay, Greg. Welcome to spring.
Mike, you are correct. It is so beautiful. It's springtime, and everybody is going out running, and Charles is just about ready to do some body surfing out there and having a great time. Wrong, Charles? Wrong.
Well,
You're only expecting a foot of snow. What's wrong with you?
yeah, right.
Yeah, well, the realty company that has that blimp or whatever,
Remax.
Remax, yes. Is it really true that they're going to be giving away snow plows in the Northeast?
I'm going to guess. I mean,
Oh, man.
the high for the day today is going to be 30.
Yeah. It was so funny because the Boston Red Sox were just down the road in Jupiter the other day. They were saying, you realize it's probably going to be 40 degrees for our home opener in Boston.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Unbelievable.
Which is just not that unusual for them.
And that's very true. That is very true.
I mean, they changed the rule on what the pitcher can do with his hands when
Yes.
the temperature is below whatever
Right.
number that is, so that he can blow on his hands to warm them.
Yeah, back in my era, that would be an invitation
Spitball.
for a spitball. Yeah,
Right.
you got that right. Oh, man. Well, Larry, Mike, you had some wonderful news from the Case-Shiller Index. Not so wonderful where Charles is up in the Northeast, which is about the only big area to go down as far as new house sales.
Oh, yeah, we're getting a lot of traction here.
Yeah, you guys are on fire out there. You in Phoenix, it seems like.
Well, don't forget, we went down the most.
That's true. Hey, we were with you. I mean, you look at 3 or 4 of the fastest growing areas, and it was Fresno, Las Vegas, Phoenix, and Port St. Lucie. So, yeah, we're well aware of that, to say the least. But, I guess the Case-Shiller, overall was down like, 0.1%. But, if you look at the top 20 cities, I mean, most of them were up except for Northeast. But, it's, your winter, Charles, has just been god-awful. I mean, this is the only one I remember was the year before we went on the air at ESPN when we were in San Diego, and I remember it was like 1978, and it seemed like the winter that never ended there. But, craziness. Absolutely craziness. Well, news yesterday, guys. Apparently the Madoff aides were convicted of the Ponzi scheme, and 5 former Madoff aides heading to jail, which probably is very good news. And I know it hits really close to home here in Port St. Lucie because
you wonder how the bookkeepers could not be knowledgeable.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's that somehow that didn't go. But
I got to tell you, there's one individual, and I have no idea what his name is or who he actually is, but there's one individual who simply wrote the software that they used for accounting, who was in that group, and that I don't get. That's like saying, Microsoft should be responsible for somebody who uses, the spreadsheet side of Office for various reasons.
Well, yeah.
It's like somebody wrote Excel, and it was used in a scam, and so he should go to jail too.
Well, yeah, I know what you're saying, but you know, oh man, that
I mean, it's not like he decided on a cost-benefit analysis not to change an ignition switch.
yeah.
You know, I mean, it's just
I know where you're going. Yeah. We of course very close to home here with the New York Mets organization. You know, they were stung quite a bit in this whole.
They just can't catch a break, can they?
No, it's but you know it's the new Mets this year, new attitude and everything else, and so yeah, that's what we're all looking at. Of course, we're the home of the New York Mets on the weekends right here on WPSL. The stocks went down yesterday, but rebounding quite a bit. I guess biotech took a few hits yesterday.
Consumer confidence just came out, very
Yep.
bullish, 82.3 versus 78.2.
Woohoo! Yeah, sounds good.
That gave the markets a jolt.
Yep.
On the upside, which was badly needed because last week there was a lot of divergence in which the S&P made a new high and the Dow failed.
Yes.
Which is a very negative divergence.
Okay, Mike, how often do you see that? That seems very unusual. You'd think they'd be on the same track.
It is, and this is a very tough market. You can't buy these rallies. These rallies, you have to look to sell certain portions on these rallies. We have a lot of advice in our market letter this week. I would have people get a copy and look at the trades. I think that there's a lot of opportunities with overbought stocks here.
Okay.
And these rallies should be sold, in my opinion.
And yesterday was the prime example. I mean, even though it rallied back, you had stocks like Netflix down $30. You had Priceline and Amazon and Google. All of the big names that have had big runs were down
look at
pretty seriously.
Look at Herbalife. Herbalife was $75 to $80 in December and January, and it's $50 now.
And same thing with Twitter. Twitter was in the mid to high 70s. I saw it go by at 48 yesterday.
Oh, come on. But Twitter, please. I just don't understand that. I don't understand that. I don't understand Facebook.
Because you're old.
I know. I'm senile, but that's beside the point. You know, it's hey, I am waiting, Charles, because I know you're madly in love with this, and that is you love your Apple stock.
Right.
And your bigger and better iPhone 6 is coming very soon, and you're counting the seconds.
I am.
Yeah.
And Charles likes Apple.
Yeah, oh yeah. Well,
and Charles is long Apple, looking for much higher levels.
Actually, we're long Apple a couple of dollars below here now. 538 was the last time that we bought it.
wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Huh.
But you're getting a snapback rally in a lot of these names. I mean, Gilead got, pretty big time disruption when it came out that their new drug is $84,000 a pop. But that's what these guys have to do to recover all of that R&D expense, which is monstrously big. And it's bounced back. It was in the 70s, 75 or so last week. Yesterday was down below 70, and now is back around 74, up $2 and change, 74.19, up 206. So some of them are coming back. The only thing that bothers me about this market is that you rarely have a really solid market without the financials, and the financials are just not really participating. I mean, they started up last week a day, and the move in Bank of America and J.P. Morgan and Citi were all pretty substantial, and then, on Friday afternoon they just started pounding them back down. They were down again yesterday, and, today they're up in a minor way.
Well, you know,
We've done very well in Bank of America.
Yes, we have. As a matter of fact, we still own the Bank of America warrants in the big account.
okay.
78 cents there, 93 bid offered at 94. We sold half of them at 92, I think it was, and took a little profit there. But yeah, we've done okay in
So-
the B of A.
So how are the accounts going?
They're actually both slightly lower. This is the first down quarter that we've had in about 3 years. And the quarter's not over yet, and the amount in the big account is not substantial, in the hundreds of dollars range. But it's been a very tough market.
Mm-hmm.
I'll say, because a market that changes directions becomes very, very choppy at the top. And that's where we are. We're in the eye of the hurricane, in the top area. From here to any 100 points higher, it's going to be very, very tough to do anything more than just trade this market.
Yeah. The problem is that in a market like this, you get these moves, and you expect, because of the last 5 years, that those moves are going to, carry through. And so it's really difficult to buy as these things are moving higher, because the higher they go, the further away from support they get. And while they may be making, some of these may be making new highs, the risk-reward is just completely out of line, and they stop on a dime. I mean, this is a market that gets overnight news that is either phenomenally good or horrendously bad.
Oh, yeah.
And you just don't get a chance. When news comes out overnight, you don't get a chance to sell them unchanged or down a little if they gap down.
Yeah.
I mean, we had that with the Groupon, where the earnings came out. The stock was trading around 10.5. It rallied up in the after hours to $12.10, I believe, was the high. And then they had the conference call overnight, and the stock opened at 9
Wow.
and went down to 8 immediately.
Mhm.
And when I say immediately, I mean in the first 10 or 15 minutes.
Yeah, right. Yeah, as soon as the bell, then they're down. Yeah, it's amazing. Well, what did you guys think of? I don't know whether you follow the NBA at all, but the Brooklyn Nets have a very unusual owner. He is from Russia. He's a billionaire in Russia. And he's saying, the hell with the USA. He's moving all of his offices back to Russia because Putin's got the right idea. And and I think it's amazing because this is a guy that ran against Putin.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, man, are you kidding
good
me?
riddance to him, and he could take the Nets with him.
Well, that I was going to say, and Brooklyn will never miss him either, but that's a whole different story. But, it just, that's an amazing story. And, you just have to wonder where this all is going. I mean, is Putin really trying to put Humpty Dumpty back together again? He was.
I hate to.
Well, the
I hate
Crimea is a different situation. I think the West is overblowing this. There's a lot more to it.
Well, I understand that, Mike, but I think that people are more concerned not about Crimea. They sort of understand that, but it's the whole Ukraine issue, and
Right.
would they go into Poland? I mean, there's a lot of really, really nervous
Funny that
countries.
you mentioned Poland, because the last time that anything like this happened historically,
Yep.
the world called it appeasement.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. I don't know. This is not looking good, and obviously this as we found out a couple of years ago with the whole Euro thing, when something goes on in Europe, it does affect our U.S. markets.
Of course it does.
Sure. Wow. Well, guys, I don't know about you, but where you are, but gas prices supposedly going up maybe as much as 60 cents a gallon
Wow.
because of the Houston ship channel accident. Really?
I said something. I have said something about this, several times, it just amazes me with the size of the energy market that we have, that when there's fog for a day and a half in the Houston Ship Channel, the price of gasoline explodes.
Isn't that amazing?
I mean, just in time is, okay. I'm not sure it's ever really been the answer to not have anything on, in stock if you don't have immediate demand for it. But, the downside of it is clearly this type of situation.
Yeah, yeah. Well, what I thought was very interesting is that the Energy Department, according to CNBC, announced that it was opening Coos Bay, Oregon, which is, I didn't even know they had a natural gas facility there, opening that up for export, so that they were going to start exporting natural gas from Oregon. So that would be, all right, Michael, you're out there. That would be what, for Pacific Rim, maybe?
Pacific Rim.
Yeah, if you're shipping from Oregon, your closest point would be Pacific Rim countries, wouldn't it?
Absolutely.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that sounds intriguing. It's just. But anyway, they made that announcement 2 days ago.
It hasn't really put much of a bid under the natural gas market. I mean, natural gas was well over $5.50.
Yes, it was.
Not very long ago, and here we are down in the fours again.
Yeah.
And not the high fours either.
No, and you've got oil, which is floating around 99, and and Brent crude is what, 107, 108, somewhere around
107.10,
there.
up 29 cents. Our West Texas is down about a dime. So, I mean, it's kind of a strange market. I mean, all of it is kind of strange. Not just the stocks, not just the energy things. This is a very, very choppy
Well, there's
market.
a very fine balance in the world of oil supply and demand.
Yeah.
And the incidents with Russia puts the market on the defensive. I mean, in other words, it's very, very difficult to be short this market with the supply and demand in very tight balance.
Yeah, now the nat gas is up almost a dime at 4.37. So it's come down $1.25, $1.50.
Wow.
That may not seem a lot to people when they think about, gas or oil, but, that's a 25% drop in the price.
Sure.
Well, it's opened just above its 50-day moving average. It's opened right on it. It gapped well below it
Yeah.
in the last 2 days, and now today it opened at the number and just above it.
Yeah. Copper, the same thing, $3, right on the round number here this morning, up about 5.5 cents.
You know what? I didn't check. Where's gold? Is it because it was?
Gold is up about $1.60 the last I saw.
Cause it's been down the last couple of days, right?
Oh yeah, it came down from. Mike has a guy who he knows who trades it, and was calling it a short at 1380, and yesterday or this morning it was 1300 even.
Wow.
I mean, it's bounced back a little, but that's a pretty quick 4-day move.
Yeah. No kidding.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, is it
Well,
now again? Is that the European uncertainty though?
I don't think that is dominant in the news. I don't think the European situation has played itself out yet as far as the markets are concerned. But we're buying the Central Fund of Canada, which is symbol is CEF. It's an investment holding company which invests in gold and silver.
Really? Okay.
Yes. And we're trying to buy that. I bought some yesterday. I think 14.06 I paid, or 14.07. I can't remember, one of those two. And it could be an interesting acquisition, a fund that accumulates gold and silver.
Okay, so this is not like a drilling operation. This is an actual
Fund that buys.
fund.
Right.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, it's trading around 14.10 right now, and you know it's down from September of last year from the 16.5, $17 area, and got really as low as hanging around in the high 12s, 12.80, 12.90. It's pretty well supported right where it is here, although it is, you know, it bounced above its 200-day and now is solidly below it. But I think the support on it is down to about 13. I hate to say it like this because it'll date me for age. 13 and 5/8. So around 1365 to 1380, it's well supported, and it was there yesterday and the day before at 14.
Wow.
Today's low is 1403. So, you know, it's in an area that, you know, clearly it could be bought if it were to trade back through 15.20. You know, I'm going to guess it would work its way, you know, pretty substantially higher back into the old range, which is up around 20 to 23.
I remember when this would have been 1983 when the Canadian government brought us up for the first time. And, you know, just taking a look at the future Olympic sites in Calgary and reading one of the Calgary newspapers, and they were talking about the new gold rush, that they had found all sorts of gold and silver in some of the mountains in the Canadian Rockies. And I was just kind of laughing, you know, that, wow, the 49ers are back. You know? That was back
Well, all
in
you got to do is
1983.
watch reality TV. They got a half a dozen shows about, you know, Bering Sea gold,
Oh,
where
I
they
know.
vacuum up the silt on the Bering Sea floor
Sure.
and pull gold out of it. Or there's another one where they in Alaska, I think it is, where they, you know, where they're prospecting there. You know, frankly, you know, you close a lot of gold mines at $50 that you can reopen at $1,300.
Yes.
I mean, that's the economics behind it. You're talking about people prospectors who work some of these claims for as long as they can, because these areas get, you know, not cold, they're always cold, but get frozen and they can't do anything. And, you know, in a 4-month period, they pull 800 or 1,000 ounces of gold
yeah.
out. And that's, you know, that's $1 million.
That's enough to live on, right?
You know, you're talking about 2- and 3- and 4-man crews using, you know, leased equipment and just going out there and doing what they do.
That's wild. That's an amazing story. Yeah. Yeah. Well, you know, you look at especially the Rockies area, up by Calgary, Edmonton, up through there, and but all the way over to where Whistler and British Columbia, and you think, okay, that's just as rich as like where Mike is in Nevada. And if you go straight up, you know, Utah, Wyoming, Montana, it's all about the same. Whether it's oil, whether it's metals, it all